Hey, Don's fans, I am with one of my favorite athletes of all time, Matt Glover, men's basketball alum from California, graduated in 2015. Matt, you were a member of the 2014 NIT team. This is crazy. You shot 40.1% from the field your senior year, led the teams in steals with 40, assists 98, and were second in total rebounds at 175. You were one rebound shy of becoming the first player in school history to lead the team in each of these categories in the same season. You were also ranked ninth in the WCC in steals per game. So needless to say, you were a beast. You go and you play overseas, and then you finally get into coaching. Your first job was Sheridan College in Wyoming. So Matt, just kind of take me through what you learned in college days and then what you learned in pro, and you transition that on the court as a coach.
It was great just to have that experience with those guys and my teammates and everything, and those bonds that last for a lifetime. We stay in touch and we talk every so often. Life goes on, it gets busy, but again, it comes back all to San Francisco. And so just going on and playing overseas after San Francisco, the basketball side was great, but the one thing that really was life-changing was being able to learn and just be around different cultures and see it from that side, and so there's a language barrier and everything, but you're able to just see where people put their values. And so, playing in Bolivia and Mexico and Republic of Georgia, they were so family based. And in Bolivia, it was like every Sunday, it was just all about family. I really wanted to implement that into coaching, and being able to have coaches that looked after me for not just what I could do on the court, all the way from my high school coach that would come pick me up before school so we could work out and make sure that I had a ride to school and was getting the academic side done, and had to get that first saying please, thank you, and implementing the young man side of me rather than the student athlete and just being a basketball player and you're good at sports so you get a pass. So experiencing that, I think, has helped shape me into the coach I am today, because like we always talk about, I want to coach guys that are great young men that just so happen to be good basketball players, rather than coaching really good basketball players and you don't know what's going to happen outside those four lines. They leave the gym and you're worried about them and everything, which you're always worried about them, but that they're going out and they're trying to be better and they're trying to do the right things in their community, for their family, for their culture, for the people around them.
You just finished your master's degree in sports administration at Regis. Why sports administration?
When the opportunity at Regis popped up, just another Jesuit institution, because of my experience at San Francisco and just how the education system worked, and they really want you to go out and experience it, and that side of it was not just a textbook experience. You're able to go out into the community and they want you to get outside your comfort zone, and then so you can go out and change the world. So that's why I chose Regis. Went with sports administration because I knew that I wanted to stay with coaching, and just after being at Sheridan and being at Regis for that first year and seeing the different kids and different players and different backgrounds, you're able to coach basketball, but you're able to mentor young men that go on to be great husbands, great, fathers, great neighbors. They understand that it's not just basketball. Basketball is going to be a small part of their life, and they use it as a vessel rather than, ends all means. They know that there's something after it. So
Yeah, and currently you're an assistant coach at Colorado State University in Pueblo, and we're in pandemic times with COVID-19. I bet that's a really great opportunity for you to coach that culture that you're talking about. Just kind of talk about that process through COVID.
Nobody really just pops up and wants a pandemic to happen and everything. Or, I mean, you can prepare for it, but then once it hits, there's uncharted territory. So with our guys, the biggest thing was actually the mental health side of it. And I love it because, you take the positive from those negatives or from the hard times. And it's kind of been a thing where, especially working with GoGo back at San Francisco and seeing how crucial that mental health side of the game of life is. We actually had partnered up with Danny Kavik, another USF alum, and he's working with developing his program, and just he's been helping our guys to understand how to cope with COVID and times like that. But really the biggest thing, not only the mental side, but physically, having them check in, they get screened, they come through the administration building or the football facility, and they'll get screened in the morning, get their temperature taken, and they offer COVID testing. So they are staying current with their health as well, not just, hey, I feel good. They could be asymptomatic and all that stuff. So we're trying to attack it from all sides of it.
Yeah, and has this been a time for you to kind of reinvent yourself as a coach? I mean, are you learning a lot more about yourself during this pandemic?
Definitely on and off the court. Just work-life balance, the biggest thing, being out of the office for like months on end. My wife, we were able to spend time and really just, go out, go on hikes, and just understand how important it is to have those talks and those check-in moments where, you almost take it for granted. And that kind of led to the gratitude tweets and thankful 2020 and all that good stuff, and just seeing how many things that you have going in your life, whether you can look at it the glass half full or half empty, and just trying to focus on the positive. Corey Close over at UCLA, she was giving a Zoom meeting, and I loved what she said. She said, you can stick your feet in the pity pond, but you're not going to swim and take some laps in it, and so that just has stuck with me, and just try to be solution-based in everything that we're doing. So, yeah, and then from on the court side, one of our players actually is myself, and one of our players were reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, being vulnerable and talking about shame and how our culture, our society has developed shame as a tool to try to use it to motivate people, and a lot of times it's misconstrued and we don't know how to use it. And so just trying to develop a better relationship with guys off the court and really what's going on, and understanding them from that perspective, and letting them know that I'm a person too, not just, hey, I'm a coach. There's stuff that I struggle with, there's stuff that they struggle with. And so that's helped to build that trust aspect. And then now going on to the court, it's a different dynamic. You can tell that you're motivated to just push that much more for them, and vice versa. So
yeah, and let's elaborate on that Thankful 2020 campaign, because for the month of August, almost every day you were thanking people behind the scenes, and a lot of people that go unnoticed. Just talk about how important it is sometimes just to reach out to those people that had your back and really pushed you through college and beyond.
there's so many of them that they don't get the credit that they deserve. You see them, whether you're going in the gym late at night and they're still working their tail off, or you're in there early in the morning and they're still there doing the stuff. And it's again, going back to taking things for granted. We all have a role, and we should never consider a role bigger or smaller than what it is. We all play our parts, and some people get to be out there and the spotlight or whatever it is, but that's not possible without people like Mike Fong and uh, you know Nick Whitmore and those guys, where they're busting their butt to make you a better person and make the program better. And so yeah, it's just now seeing it and having to do some of that stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've texted Luke Wicks and just said, hey, I appreciate you to the moon and back. And it's yeah, you don't get it until you get it.
And another initiative that you have a lot of passion for is the All In campaign. Can you just explain that and how you're leading your team?
The NABC, which actually Mike Burns, he was at San Diego when I was at USF, and so he recruited me to San Diego. So we kind of had that prior relationship, and just was thinking about what can I do, how can I help, and knowing that yes, the social media side of it and kind of getting out, protesting everything, but just diving into it and seeing the trend from the past and how it's like, okay, how do you capitalize on momentum and really create change, not just have it be a moment in time. And so they developed the All In campaign. And so it's just the voter engagement initiative. And I'm on the task force for that for our conference, just getting everybody to register to vote, our student athletes, and move forward and letting them know, just educating them. The biggest thing is just being educated on the topics at hand and how we can truly make change. And, I think it's 53%, the millennials make up 53% of this voting population. And so that's where I'm trying to really push and just make waves in that sense, because yes, for the presidency, but also for who's your mayor, who's your governor, and diving into those things. So not just here, in Pueblo or, out there in Tulsa or San Francisco, but when our guys go back to their community, now they're educated on, well, we got to dive into these topics so we know that who's pushing these different laws and, rules and regulations and everything. And so that side of it, just really trying to dive into change.
Matt, I am so excited that I got to catch up with you. I'm so proud of you, and I know you're going to do great things.